Hello, it is Stephen the Medium, and I am so excited to be here. If I look like I was completely discombobulated, it's because I was completely discombobulated. I'm trying to add all three platforms with Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And for some reason, Instagram is giving me a problem. It's like my problem child. So here is, I think Monique is here. So I'm so excited to hey
Hi.
Monique, I have been so looking forward to this.
Me too.
Honestly, I've been really looking forward to it, and just having I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if you find this, but Instagram is my problem child. It's one of those social media platforms that just doesn't. It has its own rules and its own way about it. So unless I'm just there solely, I have issues with it. But the most important thing is that we're here. I have people coming in. So I am so excited that you're here and that we get to chat about our experience on Doc Echo. So if anyone doesn't know, and I don't know how this is possible, this is Monique Toosoon. She's here in the house. I love the background too. So like ghosty, Halloweeny. I love it. I love it. It's such a great thing. So and I hope I will be looking. Hey, Tammy's here, and Michelle and Jen. I don't know, Monique, if you can see the comments, but if not, I'll be able to just take a look and see if there's questions for us. But how are you?
Thing open here, so I might be able to see some of them. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, I can't hear you.
You can't?
Hold on. No, I can hear you on.
Now I can't hear you. No, still can't hear you. I could. Hey, you can hear me. Good. I love it. I love it. So
I'm such an old lady with technology.
No, well, you did it. So, which is a great thing. And by the way, I just looked at the comment, and Reese Bolin just said our episode was fantastic with the Fang, F-A-N-G. You both are absolutely amazing and spectacular individuals. Reese, thank you for that. But so how are you, Monique?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic that I have you here and that we again get to chat. So I was thinking that because I want to hear about you. I want to hear about, because we're going to talk about the episode, but I also just want to hear about how you came into this arena, how you came into Doc Echo. So let me just do this. Let me just quickly get me over with and just say that I get an email in May of last year, 2023, from this gentleman, Matthew Kondraki, who I never heard from or heard about, asking me would I do this episode. So I was this close, Monique, to saying, well, actually, I did say no to Elix, to Elix, my husband. I'm like, no, I don't know anything about this. I it's just so foreign to me that I'm not going to do it. So then Elix said, Stephen, you should open up and you should look into this and see what this is all about. This guy sounds like very legitimate, and little did I know I fell in love with Matthew, right? I love him. But I decided to do it, and 2 days before the filming, or a day before the filming, which was our episode was, it was Memorial Day, right? I think it was in May. I came downstairs and told my husband, I think Matthew was scamming me because I have heard nothing. I don't know where we're supposed to go tomorrow. And Elix just looked at me and said, Stephen, I know everything. I'm like, what do you mean you know everything? So Matthew and Elix were corresponding. I had no idea. I wasn't supposed to know what the venue was. So he was conversing with Elix and set it all up. So here I go in a car with blindfolds on, like 10 minutes before we get to the venue. I have no idea where we are. And Matthew said, when you pull up, someone's going to open the door and grab you and take you out. And I got to tell you, Monique, I have not had blindfolds on in a long time, right? If ever. I was so scared. Like, what is going on? Like, I had no idea what was going on. And so they finally, I hear Matthew's voice, or I think it was Matthew. It could have been Tammy, who's amazing too, that works with Matthew. So they bring me out, and every 4 seconds with my blindfolds, Elix, 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 are you here? Elix, are you here? Because I was so scared. And then finally, I hear, quiet for 30 seconds. Nothing, and then all of a sudden you remove my blindfolds and I see this vision of green. I had no idea who was doing this with me, and I get to meet the fabulous Monique Toosoon. And that's my story. That's how I got here. And so talk to me about how did this all start, and how did you get into these episodes, or this episode?
Well, this one, Matthew had contacted me as well. And at this point, I took 2023 just to focus on paranormal. So I was like, I'm not saying no to anything. I'm doing everything this year. And I did so many things this year. I've only been doing drag and ghost hunting since COVID. It was around COVID that I decided that, they took my bars away, they took my clubs. I couldn't really do shows. And I was kind of like, what am I going to do with drag? And I decided to try ghost hunting and drag, and that very first night, it gave me an EVP where it said, he's a lady. And I was immediately like, the ghost just called me out on being a dude in a dress. And now I can't ghost hunt any other way because they're so reactive to the fact that I'm in drag. And I think that's why I became so hooked on it. And I call myself like paranormal vodka. Like, I'm here to like spike the punch in a way, I'm not like every other ghost hunter out there you see, so I'm getting a lot different of reactions.
That's for damn sure. But did you always have this interest? Like, I know you said COVID sort of initiated it, but how, like, why ghost hunting? Why not something else? Like, how did that happen?
Honestly, like I said, it was just, boredom and COVID, and I've been ghost hunting for a long time. The ghost hunting part is nothing new to me. I've been doing that for almost 20 years. And same thing with drag. I've been doing drag for about 20 years.
Wow.
So combined, doing the two, I've just been doing them separately for so long. And then during COVID, like I said, I couldn't put on a face. I wasn't doing any drag. I wasn't going anywhere. So it's just like, I got to try this and just see what the hell happens. And immediately, like, wigs, heels, lashes, all these words coming out of spirit boxes. Like, it was like the ghosts were seeing me in a completely different light and responding completely different than they ever have.
That's that's amazing. And Elix and I always talk about how so many people talk about how COVID was just such a negative, and I think there's so much positive that came out of it. And look what happened with you. But right, it opened up this even bigger arena for you to do what you do. And am I wrong in saying that you're the only like drag queen paranormal investigator
that I know of in the entire world? I have looked high and low for one. I have searched Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you can imagine, and I have yet to find another drag queen ghost hunting in drag. There might be ghost hunters that are gay and are drag queens as well, but I have yet to see another drag queen do it.
Well, I think if we find one, we just got to get rid of them, because I think you should be the only one, Monique, right?
Right, exactly.
I love this. Now, so you knew before the episode was filmed, did you know you were going to be with somebody? Like, there was going to be somebody else walking around the hotel?
Yeah, I knew a little bit. I kind of was left in the dark a lot like you were, just so not a lot of precognition about anything. And I knew I was going to the Concord Colonial Inn, but I had no clue that I was going to be unblindfolding you. I didn't know that was part of the act until I got there. I didn't know any of the history about the place until we did the tour or after the tour. I kind of arrived there a little bit before you did. And, and then once you got there, it was game on, blindfold off.
It was, and it was, had you done like an investigation like this before with cameras?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of investigations. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff on my social media. I try to film everything I do ghost hunting, just because you never know what you're capture. But I haven't done anything that's actually been for television up until that point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I didn't say it correctly, Monique. That's what I meant. Was this like the first episode or investigation that was going to bring you on a bigger venue like Amazon Prime, which is incredible. And I still cannot believe that we have an episode on Amazon Prime. Do you know how many times I've watched it, Monique?
Oh my God, I have only watched it twice.
Well, listen, maybe I'm just a little crazy, but I love watching us. I love, it brings me back to when we were actually there. And I gotta say, one of the greatest things about the filming, because I was really nervous, was obviously yourself, but everybody else that was with Matthew, because they were phenomenal. They were very welcoming, and the spirits were very welcoming. And I had no idea where I was, and I didn't know that. I just assumed whatever venue we were going to would be closed, would be abandoned. When I saw a waitress walk by, and I remember, I don't even know where I am, and see her holding a tray, I'm like, oh my God, this is an open like establishment. Like people are walking around, which started making me get nervous, even more nervous, because I'm thinking, are these people watching us? Like there was a lot to take in. And, for both of us, there's the cameras and like, okay, cameras on, go.
Yeah.
Right. And you and I are like, okay, we got to go. Like,
Yeah.
we got to start doing stuff.
Yeah. And it was just like you said, the camera on, go, just do it. And, it's kind of like they followed us around with the cameras. We did this awesome walkthrough. Before you got there, I was definitely walking around in drag a little bit. So I definitely probably scared some of the people eating their dinner outside with their families, just trying to enjoy their Memorial Day on the sidewalk.
I am sure they were intrigued, not scared, and probably wanted to know what is going on here. But that's exactly it. There was, which I understand why, but there was no direction. It was just, again, the lights went on with the cameras and like, okay, go and start doing it. But Monique, thank God for you, honestly, because just, again, I've said this like 5 times, I was very nervous, but to be able to have you with me, have me with you, and us bounce stuff back and forth with each other was fantastic. And something I said you picked up on, and then something you said I picked up on. It was pretty wild, right? It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really honestly have been learning a lot about my sensitivity in the past 5 years. I've really been trying to focus in on it. And I realized I tune into certain mediums and we kind of like do what you just said. We kind of bounce off of each other, and I tend to feed off of them a little bit. Like I'm able to pull more out because I'm with these people.
That makes complete sense, right? Because you've got 2 people that have very sensitive emotions and high energy. So, and plus, you have all the ghosts. Like you have everybody that's in there. I mean, the nurses and the soldiers and the doctor and like, I do readings pretty much daily, Monique, right? Whether it's individual private readings, whether it's venues of like 100+ people. So I do a lot of that. I have never experienced what I experienced in that hotel of walking in. I think it was the second room, right? The downstairs room was the morgue, and walking in and seeing just bodies, but the real cool thing about it was seeing the bodies, but then immediately realizing that they just showed me them laying, so I knew what I was seeing. But then they were all up and walking, behind you, behind me. It was like did you get like that energy right away in the hotel, or was it when we walked in those 2 rooms?
More when we were in those 2 rooms. When I was walking around the hotel, like by myself earlier, I was definitely picking up on different energy. A lot of the war for sure. Sorry, I have a hair. A lot of the war for sure. When I got there, I definitely knew that something big had happened there a long time ago. And there was also a little girl that I kept grabbing onto when I got there, and I kept grabbing onto that. She was on the 3rd floor, like she was all the way up at the top. And we kind of poked at that during the walkthrough. That part's not in the episode, but we were kind of poking at like the upstairs at one point, saying that there was something dragging us up there, but it was kind of a closed off area.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like with the editing and the time, restraints with these episodes. Of course, they can't show everything, but you and I did have a whole other segment out of those rooms, right? We were like all in the other side of the hotel and going upstairs and downstairs. That was pretty wild and pretty cool. And I think, again, for me, the spirits being so receptive and loving, not only you and me, but loving Matthew and his team, made that whole experience for me so different. And I'm sure, you are way more well-versed in this, right? Because you've been doing this, but do you experience, Monique, places that you go to that the spirits or ghosts are just completely like, I don't want to be bothered or get out? And do you feel that energy, that different kind of?
Yeah, there's definitely been a couple of places like that. Um, Typically, when they see me, they don't really want you to get out right away. But if you don't play along, they tend to get that way. They get a little bit more like, "Get out of here, we're done with you." If you don't kind of go after what they're going for either, like sometimes you're asking the wrong questions, and then they're like, "We're just done with you. Just get out of here."
And I didn't know, like, when's the last time anybody was in the Colonial Hotel in Concord, Mass. So I wasn't really sure. Like, I mean, investigators. I don't know if we were the first. If there were, I'm sure because it's a paranormal activity venue that there were people there that have been there prior to us. So I also didn't know, because I am a newbie to this investigation and what we did. Like, would they be aggravated? Like, oh my God, another damn team coming in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, leave us alone, please. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're not like a sideshow, a circus sideshow. But it wasn't like that at all. It was completely different. And but I'll tell you one thing that I caught, and when Matthew let me know, which I'm sure he did the same for you, that the episode was out on Amazon Prime. And that's another thing for everybody watching. Every damn day, Monique, I knew Matthew was going to tell me, right? But every damn day I was on Amazon Prime. Like, is there another episode? Is there another episode? Because I knew we were coming number 2, and I kept looking. I'm like, I know he's going to tell me, but I can't wait. So finally, when it came out, I was all excited and whatnot. But when I didn't realize, because of course Matthew just texted me and said it's out, and I was so excited that I don't know if you remember this, when we were walking around, I kept getting Dorothy. I kept saying, "Who's Dorothy?" And at the tail end of the episode, Matthew does like this voiceover and says that Dorothy was a previous owner that had just passed away like a year ago, I think, or maybe 2 years ago. I think that just gave me shivers when I heard that. It was pretty wild. And I know the same for you when you picked up on the war, right? I mean, it's. Do you?
I feel like I might be losing you. You froze on my end.
Oh, you're good here.
Oh, okay, good. You're good on my end now. It just froze for a little second there.
So, Monique, like, like, if someone said to you when you're in that room, and like, and you and I are there, and you're looking around and you're feeling things, like, how? Like, what's it like? What's the experience like? Like, are you seeing soldiers? Are you seeing the nurse? Are you just feeling them? Are you like, you picked up the girl like immediately? How do you do that, or how is it working for you?
So it's different for me with different places and different spirits. I don't really quite know what I do yet. I get images. Sometimes I just get words in my head where I'm like, okay, it's telling me to say this out loud. So I say it out loud, and then I get some sort of confirmation from it. Really feel their energy. There's a different energy to spirit children. So I can almost always tell you when there's a spirit child there, and I can usually tell you the gender of the child, but I don't physically see them with my naked eye. In my third eye, but not with my naked eye. I don't think I've ever seen anything really with my naked eye aside from shadows and stuff like that. But I tend to just pull from the atmosphere. I think I pulled a lot out of you too. I think I tend to feed off of the energy of the mediums I work with a little bit. A lot of them call me like a battery, like they can charge off of me as well. But when I felt the war, I could just feel a lot of commotion. I could feel the way the battle was going down. I could just feel that there was something big that happened here, like a battle.
That's it. It's just incredible. And the fact that this Revolutionary War was so close to this hotel. And something I didn't know, Monique, also is that my cousin Holly and her daughter, my niece Morgan, were here, and they told me that a couple of years ago with friends they visited that whole area where the hotel is, because it's just really dripping with history. I didn't even know that. And obviously part of that is the Revolutionary War. And I think it was pretty cool when I think one of the nurses pointed at the picture and said, the guys with the red. And then ultimately we figured out it was the Revolutionary War, because I am not really the greatest with wars. And I just knew that knew that they were wearing red. But the wild thing too is, though, regardless of what war it was, the soldiers are fighting. We just give so much to them and thank them. And they experience war is war, right? They experience, if they're in spirit and they died in the war, they experience, I'm sure it's not the same exact thing, but they're there for a particular purpose. And I think that's what was the coolest thing for this episode and this experience for me, was what the soldiers were doing. I think it would have been different if I was in an area or a building that maybe at some point there was a fire and a lot of people died. That perspective of spirit would be completely different than the soldiers, because they stepped forward receptive with me and you. They stepped forward very proudly and wanting to share their stories. Some a little graphic, like when one showed me like it was half of a leg. I'm like, I know that happens, but I don't need to really see that. I can feel it. But that was, I think, one of the greatest things for me anyway, was that look who we were privileged to bring through. I mean, how wild is that?
Yeah, and what you were just saying about the energy being different in different places. I went to Trans-Allegheny, which is one of the places where the most lobotomies had happened in the whole United States. And it's mind-blowing how different the energy is in like a prison versus a psych hospital versus a place where a war happened. Like the prison energy tends to be a little bit more aggressive. It tends to be more demanding. It tends to be a little bit more playful. But like when I was at Trans-Allegheny, there were moments of that where I almost felt like I had a lobotomy. Like I would keep going blank and I would just be like lost in there almost, like you start to pick up some of that energy of the people that suffered in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and that's part of even what we had, right? Because obviously these soldiers suffered, I don't know percentage wise, but maybe all of them to some degree, either physically or mentally. But one amazing thing too, Monique, that I think I shared in the episode was how happy, how they felt about what I kept saying John, so I don't even know if the doctor was John, but I remember in the episode, John is the one that brought me around, but I just, how they really loved this guy that was doing everything he could for these soldiers, like like if they were injured, but they could be saved, and the nurses, that sort of, I don't know, camaraderie. I mean, maybe that's not the right word for it, but it felt that way in the room. It just felt like there was just such, I don't know, like gratefulness. They were thankful for it, that they had this place, this guy that was helping them, and the nurses also. So it was, I think that like you just said, Monique, I think the different places and the different venues, it's kind of interesting to think about, because I don't think, unless you're doing this, like what you just said, I don't think a lot of people may think about, like, well, that makes sense when you hear it. Different venues have different people, and those people and how they lived or how they died is going to really show you or reflect the energy, right?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty amazing. And what I also love too is this hotel that was open and just was like, yeah, come on, medium, come on, drag queen, come on in, just walk around, and just like, just go. They probably loved it, and I know they did it, because I know, even though I was focused, I think when we were either coming down, I think we were coming from second floor down to first floor, somebody walked by you and just gave you like this big smile, like, this is what we need, like this energy and this, just this, I don't know, changing the environment in such a great environment. I think with us being here in the presence of us, and also the changing of the environment clearly is spirit too, because even before we get there, they know, right? They know we're coming. Yeah. So they sort of beef it up. And that hotel, I don't know, Monique, if you know, I don't know how many rooms are in there, but I do know, I'm maybe it's 20, 30. I don't even know how many rooms are there.
I don't know either.
But the two main rooms, which you really don't see on the episode, is when we walked in, we went to both those rooms. Boom and boom. The operating room and the morgue room. It was pretty incredible on two different floors, mind you. They weren't even next to each other.
No.
They were, because when we were on first floor, remember both of us were talking about going downstairs
into the basement.
Well, we're going downstairs to the morgue, but then you were, when we were on the other side of the building, you kept saying, because I remember you put your hand, you like crouched down and hand and was feeling the energy on the floor.
Yeah, I was almost, like I said, I was being sucked into the basement almost. Like it felt like something was pulling me down there. We ended up going down there for like a couple of minutes just to check it out. And there was a lot of different things going on down there versus not the war stuff.
But was that, Monique, was that more of the girl?
It could have been. That could have been why I was pulled down there. The children tend to play with me a little bit more. I think it's because they kind of see me as a clown, or they're attracted to like that fun energy maybe. But I definitely get pulled around a lot.
I think it's the, the enormous energy, the persona of who you are when you come in. So I wouldn't be surprised at all, because no, seriously, because that's that is the that sort of kids energy, which I love, right? I mean, I wish more of us were like kids, but I wouldn't be surprised if that pull was mainly from this little girl that probably didn't want you to leave.
Yeah, and she kept pulling me upstairs, downstairs, anywhere but the floor that the two rooms were on. It was the actually opposite floors of the two rooms. So the third floor and then the basement. It was just the weirdest thing.
It's amazing, and I'm not really sure how often this little girl has a drag queen going through her venue.
Probably never. I'm probably the first drag queen to walk in there.
And the soldiers and the doctor and the nurses and the owner and oh my God, Monique, can we just talk about the dog bark?
Yes.
What? Like, that was incredible that right at the bottom of the stairs, I mentioned a dog, and Matthew replayed it on the episode.
Yeah.
That you actually can hear the dog bark, like a dog in spirit, that is.
And there was no dogs in there.
No.
None.
I'm not even sure if dogs are allowed, but where we were, there were no dogs. And you could actually even tell by the sound of that, I mean, I know this sounds weird, but you can sort of it sounds like it's coming from a different realm or a different dimension. You can tell that this dog bark is in spirit. And when I brought the dog up, the dog wanted to make sure we both knew that it was really the dog with that. And it was so amazing how Matthew replayed it so that you could actually hear the dog bark a second time. And there was something else that I don't remember that was in the episode that was validated. I think it will come to me, but what I loved what you did, and you talk about, and this meant so much to me, Monique, and I didn't get to really tell you this because we were filming, but when we're in, I think, the first room, and you talk about your bouncing, like you with my energy and whatnot, and when you said about you getting the R name and you got Rita, that was completely pulling my energy, because I have my Aunt Rita who is in spirit, but I love the fact that you actually, because that is such an odd name, right? And that's not a common name.
No,
Rita.
Not at all.
Like, it's not like you just came out and said Mary, and like everyone in exactly, the whole camera crew is like, I gotta marry. But Rita, I mean, come on, Rita. And my mom had three sisters, and the four sisters were really close, and Rita was one of them. Actually, Holly's mom was my Aunt Rita, who I just referenced, coming up and doing that tour. So people sometimes don't get that we not all, like, I love that you said we play off each other's energies, but people also sometimes don't get that in playing off energies, we throw signs to each other too, which was, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh my Monique, I wanted to hug you. Like, you're bringing my Aunt Rita in. I love it. And she passed away in 2008, I believe. So it's been a long time. And that was really cool. Very, very cool. And I know that, did you have a chance to walk around? Like, did you go to the bridge?
I did not leave the building except to start the walkthrough. Before you got there, we did like a little filming inside the entrance door outside, just like announcing the place, and we just kind of walked out. But I didn't really get to walk around outside much, so I didn't
Yeah.
go to the bridge.
I don't know how far in the bridge, what I'm talking about came up in the episode, that the soldiers kept showing me a bridge, but they kept attaching. I couldn't tell which one it was, like south, north, east, or west.
Yeah.
And then we found out that this bridge was so close. And Matthew had taken a tour. I guess the gentleman had brought him out there already. And that's where fighting went and I mean, occurred. That was also just amazing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It was, and for them to bring actually up the bridge that was tied to the soldiers was, you know, pretty exciting. And, you know, I think that this is for actually starting with Matthew and then all of us coming in that did this filming. And I know that he's doing the second season now, but I think it's right from the get-go, even picking the venues is all part of the process, right? Spirit's involved, and Spirit, you know, is helping Matthew if he's picking it solely or if he's having, you know, discussions with others. It's all Spirit, right? They're all like, no, this is the places that we're going to go. These are the people, the mediums that are going to come in, and the investigations are going to happen in these particular rooms. And everything is sort of set by Spirit and the ghosts that are in the venue. And it blows my mind. It just does. It blows my mind.
Something that blew my mind that you kept talking about, and I don't know if it was ever really addressed in the episode, but you kept saying how you kept seeing someone writing a book or writing something or something being written there. And one thing I noticed, and I don't know if this was like, it was soon after you left, I think, in the hallway, kind of where the camera crew was, there was a like framed photo, and I believe that Anne of Green Gables was written there.
It's, you know what, I think Matthew's here, so I'm going to bring him in, but I think he probably may know. But yes, I mean, he had filled me in with some of the stuff that there wasn't in author. I think it was the grandson, and I think it was also connected to Salem, to Nathaniel Hawthorne too. It was pretty, it was pretty amazing. So let me bring in this crazy guy that emailed me in May and just said, "You want to do something with me?" I'm like, yeah. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's good to see you, Steve. Good to see you, Monique.
Matthew Kondracki is here. Matthew, I'm so excited that you're here, seriously, because of you, we're together, and I got to meet Monique and get to meet your staff and actually do this episode. So Matthew, tell everybody, because you're the guy here. You're the originator, the producer, the director. So tell everybody like what your part is, who you are.
Yeah, if just real quick, if I forget anything, just so people know, I'm dealing with a tragedy in the family, so my mind is not really, you know, in the right state of mind right now. And then I got to film tomorrow, so it's just all over the place right now. I just, you know, I reached out to a couple mediums, and, you know, the same thing you do. They were worried about, you know, is this real? Is this not real? And then you were the last one. I said, you know what? I'm emailing this guy. I'm going to see what he says. And then I didn't hear from you from a couple of days. And then there you go. I got the email. I was like, oh, there he is. And then I started going back and forth with you. And then pretty much, you know, conversation stopped, because then I had to deal with Elix so you don't know where we're going. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is the mediums on the show do not know where they're going at all. And I make sure they do not know. So, yeah, and I think every day that you took a chance with us, Monique, you took a chance with us. I didn't know Monique was gifted as well, too. So that kind of blew my mind as well.
I don't like to tell people I am, because then they have an expectation. So I like to go in there with no expectation, because if I don't get anything, then great. But usually I pick up on small things, not major. Like Steven is a medium. I'm a small.
But you did absolutely amazing. You picked up on the war. You picked up on a little girl. You picked up on his aunt. You picked up on stuff that was just absolutely amazing. And the thing that I loved the most was that you are tall, but you're taller than me. But I was so happy that there was somebody finally tall with me.
And by the way, Monique, too late. It's out. People know about you now. It's out. You can't hide it anymore. Your connection, it's there, right? So, and you know, when you live and breathe this, just like Matthew does. So which is amazing. And Matthew, I take no insult that I was the last one picked. It's like feels like I'm in high school waiting to be picked to play kickball or so, even though, I would always get out of gym, but that's a whole nother thing.
Oh my God, me too. That's a gay thing.
Monique, I love it. But Matthew, seriously, I didn't know that. And all I know is that Elix came to me and said, Stephen, think about this. Elix can pick up people's energy. He's so connected. I know, and I talk about Elix as my husband of going on 31 years in April, so he's the best. But he picks up on things so quickly, way even quicker than I do. And he could tell Matthew from an email from you that you were legit, that you were coming from a great place. He knew that, and that's why he would have never said to me, because I've never done this before, Stephen, I think you should reconsider this and think about this. He would have never said that to me. And thank God he did, because this experience of meeting you, the team, Monique, the episode was unlike anything I even imagined was going to happen in 2023. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing, Matthew.
Yeah,
and then, when you weren't there for the investigation, when Monique was doing, like, a lot of things is you can't really show everything during the filming, because you have a certain time limit when you put it on a platform. You only have an hour, and unfortunately, as you guys know, some stuff gets cut, and it does suck. But down the line, I plan on doing like a director's cut where people can buy outright personal, so you can, and then I'll send it to you guys. Yeah, so I plan on down the line. I plan on doing a director's cut so you can see everything. But people don't understand is when the mediums come on, I don't know much until I get to the location, and then you guys, when you guys do your thing, I'm blown away. I gotta take the camera's monitor and go like this so you can't see me smiling, because I got the walkthrough before you got there, and I already know stuff that already happened where people have seen stuff and like that. But the most best part is, and I tell you, is when you're editing, because then you hear stuff that wasn't hot. When I heard that dog and you said there's a dog, and then I heard the bark, I'm like, get the heck out of here. No way. And then, then you put the headphones on, and then you hear it. It's like, oh my God, that's an EVP of a dog. Like, how, just boom, boom, boom. It's just like, with your episodes and Wildwood and all the EVPs we got in that episode as well. A lot of people forget, though, you guys are mic'd up professionally with expensive microphones, and they're going to pick up they'll pick up a lot of things. So, and that's just credible right there. I hear this woman, and, I hear a woman on the microphone, and you'd be like, well, that wasn't me. That wasn't you. Then who was that? So a lot goes into this, storytelling. It's like when I wanted to do this, I wanted to make sure that, I want to do it very cinematic. A lot of people don't understand cinematic means, they think lighting and that's cinematic. It's not. It's the storytelling. It's the way the people are. It's the camera angles. It's the edit. And also too, what people don't know is when you walked into the people getting cut, I made it a very cold feeling because it's very sad. It's not meant to be a happy feeling. It's very sad. And so a lot of people, like the people in the industry that I know, they caught on to that. They're like, they love that I can tell the story with the warm and the cold, because, morgues and people getting cut, that's a cold feeling. It's not happy. It's not beautiful, warm lighting. It's very cold. So when you watch these episodes, I like people to really watch them and see that, the color tells the story as well with the lighting and the motions. And the guy who does the music, Dave, Ruby Glass Media, just adds the punch to the walkthrough. It's absolutely amazing what everybody's doing, what you're doing, what Monique's doing, what the crew's doing, and how the show is growing and the responses we're getting. I did find out personally that episode 2 and 3 were the biggest hits. So guys, give yourself a round of applause. Episode 2 and 3 were the big ones. So
and still
so
growing.
Now with episode 4, that's the new style of filming. So everybody's going to see the new style, the new look, the new feel. Stephen, with yours at the Cohasset, we're going to go back and do some B-roll so we can add yours to the new style as well. So from 1, 2, and 3. When people watch 4, 5, 6, and 7, they're gonna get knocked through the loop. Like, what just happened?
I love, Matthew. You know what I love about what you're doing in how you're presenting these episodes is that really it's what producers and directors like want, or will, if they give advice, they'll say, do whatever you can to pull people in. So you see the first episode and then you want to wait for the second. Oh my God, the second's better. And then the third's better and the fourth's better. And the look, it's just pulling. And then finally people are like, all right, Matthew, when's second season coming out? It's pretty wild, right? I mean, that's what you're really accomplishing. And you actually, I didn't know because I just didn't know that you could do a review on Amazon Prime about the episodes. I had no idea. And you just you texted me, some of those comments were like, oh my God, Monique, I don't know if you saw them, but they were so incredible. Just about how finally there's this show, this series that is different. It's not using like these mainstream mediums that everybody knows, and it's just giving people a chance, and it's really feeling like these episodes are down to earth. Like the people that are doing it love it, and it's not Hollywood. It is, I mean, it's Hollywood in the sense of the way it looks, right? Because it looks amazing, but it's not Hollywood in the sense that let's just fake this or make this for ratings. It's just not. It's just none of it. I know Monique came from and comes from an authentic place. You, like, again, you live and breathe it. So do I, and so does Matthew. So those reviews, Matthew, were I'm so excited.
Yeah, so the people who watch the show, when you're done watching, make sure you go into details and leave a review, because the more reviews we get, Amazon's going to catch on, and they're going to contact me personally, and things could get 10 times bigger for us and bigger for everybody. Also, too, when I designed the show with Tammy, and we wanted to make sure we give back to the people who don't have the opportunities, because when you go on these shows, you're only on there 15 minutes. You tell a story, then you go home. You don't get to investigate. So when we get to bring people, they get to investigate. They get to meet the mediums. They get to see the walkthrough. They get to see a lot of things that you don't get to see when you're watching these big, the network shows. So we wanted to give back. Like season 2, I'm going to tell you guys, what people don't understand is I work so hard behind the scenes with editing the voiceovers and going through the stuff. Like when Steven, got this name of this woman and got this name of the nurse, I actually dug that up when I was doing my work, because I had to go back and do this with the voiceovers and the pictures and try to find, something close. And I reached out to some of the biggest names in the industry with lighting, and I'm just giving you a little preview of what's coming for season 2. That bad boy. That's just a little bit. And then I reached out to a lens company who's well known in the industry. I gave them a little sample of those, and I also reached out to people who design equipment, which I wanted to give people who are not known the chance to have their stuff shown on the show. We have one of the amazing crystal REM pods by Lauren Helgeson, who sent us 2 custom crystal REM pods to be part of season 2, and we're excited to show her. There's also we got sponsored by the Ghost Hunter store. We got a lot of their equipment's going to be on the show. So we're giving back to people who give back to us, and you get to come to awesome locations as well.
Yeah, and going off of what you're saying too, I do the same thing with equipment. I love to give, people who are making their own things a bigger chance than like some of the stores. And I created this YouTube series called Check Out My Equipment, where I teach people about ghost hunting equipment, because I feel as if like you buy something and it comes with like a little piece of paper that barely gives you instructions on what to do with the damn thing. You put batteries in it and you just hope for the best. So I take all this equipment out and I play with it for weeks and weeks and weeks and try and figure out how to work it. And then I do a video on it. And I like to go for the smaller brands, the smaller people that are building things, as well as what Matt had just said about the Lauren Helgeson's crystal pods. Some of the smaller items that are out there versus like the things you find on all the stores.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matthew.
No, well, I was just saying, because also our show is actually seen in the United Kingdom, and United Kingdom does not play games when it comes to paranormal. So when they see that equipment on our show, they're going to want it, because it's And the best thing about when I designed this too is I wanted to make sure that nobody can sit there, and if paranormal stuff happens, nobody can sit there and be like they're faking it. And I designed the filming where there's no way that anybody could say the show's fake whatsoever.
I hate faking. That is one thing that even with my events and stuff, that's the first thing I tell people that are coming. I don't want anything fake happening here. I don't ever want to get caught faking anything. Like, this is something that is happening to a lot of the YouTubers. You'll find that they get busted, and You know, I
Oh
hate
yeah, oh
it has
yes.
to be authentic. Like I don't want a fake experience. If nothing happens, nothing happens. But faking it is just creating bullshit.
Same
That's
thing with my crew. Um, I told them like what Scarlett, our amazing DP, and our audio Tammy, who does an amazing job. I told them anytime during an investigation, they tell me somebody's faking. I don't care if you drove 7 hours, 8 hours. You're gonna pack up your stuff and go home, and then you're gonna tell people you're a fake.
Yeah.
well, that's the greatest thing about what I was referencing at the beginning is that your energy comes from a place of being very authentic. So the faking is not even in the realm of what you two do, which is why Elix picked up Matthew, that you've got great energy, and why I did this and got to meet Monique, which is a beautiful thing. But I gotta say, Matthew, as the second season with the equipment gets better and you go into third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, Monique and I will always be the OGs, right? We were the first
Absolutely,
season,
absolutely.
Monique. So you know what? We're always the OGs. That's it. That's where it ends.
We're actually, Stephen. We're working. Tammy's working hard behind getting some of the locations because we're working on one hell of a season finale for season 2. I'm just going to tell you, this place has never been done.
Wow.
They loved everything Tammy sent out to them. They loved what the show is about. And if they agree to this, it's going to be a 4-day filming, and the three mediums is going to be you, Larissa, and Sarah. Yes,
You,
you're coming back for the season finale if we get this location.
I would love that. And you know what? Did you see my face? I had clearly no idea, right? Like, oh, really? Wow. Matthew, thank you. Thank you. And I got to give a shout out also to Tammy. I mean, Tammy is she's not only like so knowledgeable, but she's a love bug. I connected with her like I connected with Monique in the episode so much and so quickly. And so in the second episode I'm with Tammy, and I could not between Tammy and Monique, I could not get better partners if I tried, honestly. I mean, Tammy also rolled off whatever I said and helped me and made me feel like comfortable, and it was pretty amazing. So I don't know where you found her, Matthew, but you got to make sure you hang on to her. Maybe like a little kid, put a rope on her or something that stretches, but keep Tammy with you. Just saying.
I know her since 2007. She used to be investigator with me in my old days. So yeah, she's I've always,
Really good.
we reconnected, and yeah, it's great. Like, this girl went from knowing nothing about audio, who can go into a location, mic you up, get you going, and tell Matt we're ready. Just like Scarlett, she can take the camera, set it all up. It's okay, Matt, we're ready. So it makes life easier, with the new style filming. It's just so people know, when you see the new style, get used to this face, because you're gonna see a lot of it.
Like in pop-ups, we're going to be watching an episode and Matthew's face is going to pop up and say, by the way, blah, blah, blah. I think that would be kind of fun. I think it would really be fun.
I'm in a lot of the like I said, we want feedback from the public, and and I'm just going to say, a lot of people will not give you feedback because a lot of people want to see you fail, and we will never allow that. And the people who gave me the feedback was my friends from Hollywood. They sat with me 2-3 hours and said, hey, do this, try this. And that's the one thing I always tell people. If somebody who's in the industry, well known more than you, or they know what they're doing, take their advice. Don't be, excuse my French, don't be an asshole. Listen to what they're saying, because they're taking the time out of their busy schedule to give you advice to make you a better filmmaker. Take their advice and listen to what they say.
100%. And feel the same way when I meet people that are in the industry that have been doing this for a million years. I suck up everything I can out of them, every knowledge I can learn from them, every piece of advice, everything.
That makes sense. And I think that's, as you both just said, that's when you're smart, right? You are taking advantage. If it's there and it's given to you, it's also combined with spirit, right? As I'm a big advocate of spirit help, as we talked about Monique and talking about you, Matthew, and picking these venues and getting the people that are working with you. It's all positive people. They're very active in how, we move forward in what we're doing. And I think it's the same exact thing about spirit will put these key people in front of you so that, you got to do the work and you got to grab it. Like Monique and Matthew, you just said, you take it, right? You take it, you take it, you take it. It's there for a particular reason. So it's amazing.
Do you remember I told you that the cross I built? You said the spirits were guiding me to use that. I got to tell you, throughout the whole season, that cross Ren pod is absolutely amazing. We've got the most activity off that cross Ren pod than most of the stuff that we used, and it's just. And I was just going back to what you said. They told you that they guided me to build this little cross out of it was just an idea, and I was just like, you know what, and it's been the biggest hit with the spirits ever since. And what people don't know too. I do like to say this, but I have to say, Steve actually, when we were done filming, Steve actually brought me down to the knees and brought me in tears, and nobody's ever done that. Monique got to witness that, and that's when I got the biggest hug from Steve, and I got the biggest hug from Elix. It was just so warm and loving. He kept in one of the rooms. He said he picked up this guy named Bob, and he kept saying, Bob's here, and he said he's very prominent. And then after a while, it kind of clicked in. Bob was one of my investigators who used to go with me all the time, and he was a tech guy, and he was very, very strong, very prominent. And then it just finally kicked in, and then that's pretty much when off camera I broke down, and everybody came in, gave me hugs, and I do appreciate that. I won't cry in front of nobody unless I really feel you and respect you. And I got to say, from bottom of my heart to you guys, I might tear up. I want to say thank you for Jesus. I want to say thank you for you guys and for being part of this, and becoming in part, and still being connected, and still going forward. And like I told people, I just with the whole thing that happened with the family this week, it's just it's all coming up. I'm not afraid to cry on camera. Hi everybody. And and it's just been amazing with everybody, with the reaching out to me and in the comments and calling me personally, and you guys. And it's just, I want to say, Steven, thank you for having me on the show, because it's kind of getting me prepared for the big Thursday and Friday, and I needed this to ease my mind. And I do appreciate it, and thank you for having me on.
Well, Matthew, collectively, I will tell you that I know everybody is sending you so much love and so much healing. And I will tell you that I think a reflection of someone who's very professional, that's very successful, is bringing people in, and then when it's done, the people still want to come in and do something else with you. So the fact that I got an episode done, and then was fortunate enough to do an episode with Tammy, and when you just told me about, the second season, you didn't see me saying, I'm not doing it with you. I would be so open, seriously. So that's your it's just who you are and how you're selecting everybody, and including Monique. I just look also right now at this screen and just think, my God, just because you sent me an email and I said yes, I get to have Monique and Matthew here with me. This is like it's the coolest to meet. That's what it's all about, right? I don't say a human connection, I say an energy connection, because we're really all just energy. And the fact that, I feel like, I have you in my corner, both of you, and that you have me, it's pretty amazing. I love it.
I'm excited to also work with Monique and some events coming up next this year, and then I can't wait to do that with her, and just have a blast, because you're around people who actually care about you, and you care for them, and there's no jealousy, we're all here together. If I could push you, you could push me. That's what we're all here for. We're all here to, and if I can give you the opportunity to be on a show and get seen by many millions of people, and then branch off that, and other people contact you, then that's what I'm all about. I love giving back to a lot of people. They think I get a lot of messages, I'm all about myself, and all I cared about was me, and that is the farthest truth. I didn't want to be in front of the camera for all the new filming, but that's what the people in the industry said, to bring in the viewers and bring in stuff like that. So then, I get to work with people more, and I get to, I wish the new style came in style when I worked with you and Monique, but with season 2, it'd be able to, yeah. So
we didn't need it. Monique and I were so good, Matthew. We did not need it.
Yeah, you were. You guys, we had some mic problems, what people don't know, and we got to fix. And that's the best thing about this. This is real. This is not staged. There's not like scripted. Like here's the script. Here you're coming in. This is this and this. You come in, cameras on, lights on, action, boom, blindfold off, and that's what you do. And that's
zero script.
Yes.
Zero script.
No.
Zero prior knowledge.
Yeah, we can attest to, Monique and I can attest to that. Before you came on, Matthew, we were talking about blindfolds come off, the cameras go on, the two of us, okay, go. Like, okay, go. We go, right?
I think you can kind of see that moment on camera between us when I take off the blindfold and we kind of stand there. We're like, what do we do now?
It's just like he's like, don't mess up the hair, and she was, I got this.
Oh yeah,
oh my god, I did. I actually remember. I can't believe you just said that, but I did. I remember saying, I didn't know it was Monique. I'm like, just don't mess up my hair. So when the blindfold was coming off, I didn't want to look like I don't know, alfalfa or something with one piece of hair shot up like that during the whole episode, right? Once it's done, it's done. But this has just really been so eye-opening for me, honestly, because again, I knew nothing about the paranormal activity. I gotta be honest, I never even really watched an episode. I mean, when I saw like shows on that were paranormal investigators, I mean, maybe I would keep it on for a little bit, but not because I didn't like it. It just was one of those things that for whatever reason, I just wasn't sitting watching it. And then when I got to get involved with this, and just watching and seeing what this is all about, it just blows my mind. It's a whole different world, right? It's incredible. And I will tell you one thing for Matthew and Monique is that what I love about these episodes is that how, Matthew, you've got, like in our episode, us coming first and then the investigation second. What is really great about that is that Monique and I can connect, which we did, both of us, connecting with spirit, giving validations, and people love that and you confirm the validations, but it's us orally saying it, right? And it's a wonderful thing. The second part is where people visually get to see these like apparatuses going off and connecting to spirit, and you being more very specifically connected to spirit, asking if you're here, put the green light on or the red light on or back up and make the light go on. The combination of that, I think, is brilliant.
Yeah, it's great to confirm what the mediums are saying. It's great to have that, that tool to show the world that what we're seeing isn't something that we're making up. It's great to get that confirmation that is visual.
Yes.
What people don't know is when I was filming, I had the camera, and then Monique had this long Draven's dress, and I was like, I'm sitting there like, oh, I hope I don't step on this dress because I'm going down with the camera, and it's hard like filming you and looking down. I was like, oh, I came close a couple times stepping on that dress, and I was like, oh.
So you were the first person I filmed with a couple of places since this. The first person I filmed with, and I learned a very big lesson about my dress that day, and that it cannot have a train on it when I'm ghost hunting. That thing was getting stuck on everything. You can see in the episode, I'm holding it in my arm most of the walkthrough because it just was so in the way. So I recently had all my dresses cut.
Yeah, so I thought at one point I was gonna go down. It's gonna be live on camera. I'll leave it too. There he goes. He's done. He's out.
Yeah.
You know what, Matthew? What I think we've all learned is you just roll with it, right? Something happens on camera, on radio, you just roll with it. There's no perfection. But Monique, for somebody who wants to like reach out to you, like how can they get in touch with you? How can they find you?
Monique Toosoon on all social media, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, everything is Monique Toosoon. MoniqueToosoon.com is my website where you can see all the events I'm hosting. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have Steve in the Medium on an event.
I love that. So now I'm glad that everyone can figure out how to find you. And I would love that, Monique. And Matthew, the same for you. How can people find you?
You can find me on you can just go on Instagram, Facebook. You can type in Matthew Ryan Kondracki. You can type in Dark Echoes web TV show. You can go on Google, just type in Dark Echoes Paranormal, and pretty much everything comes up. And also too, Stephen, we got some events planned too that we're gonna have you too. So get ready. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Like after we're done filming season 2, we're gonna be doing so many events. It's insane. We're doing meet and greets, and I didn't expect this to all happen.
Isn't it? It's wonderful. It's just wonderful. And listen, when you find your purpose, we're all here for a reason. And when you find your purpose and you get in that zone, you get in that path, your passion, that's what happens. It can't not happen that the opportunities and everything just follows you. You have to be open to grab it, the opportunities, but it is just amazing how, both of you, I love Monique's story. Matthew, I love what's happening to you right now. And I definitely look so forward to getting to see you two physically, again, in person, to be able to share and experience more amazing stuff. And also my next episode's coming out at some point with Tammy, which I'm really excited about.
Your next episode is one for the records. I have to tell people, you thought Concord was something. Wait till you see him at this other place at the Cohasset Town Hall. Tammy and I did this place in 2007, and what he got is, that's all I could tell you. You're it's just, if we can go back and do the B-roll, I would love to really, put this into the new style. It would be absolutely amazing. You guys are you're going to love what he did at the Cohasset Town Hall. Oh my God. Absolutely amazing.
Can I do a quick shout out real quick?
Of course.
Off subject. I just noticed that Ken Vogel was commenting on the thing, saying hi and saying that Monique is great. If you guys don't know who Ken Vogel is actually from the TV show Living for the Dead on Hulu, which is a newer paranormal show that just started this year. And it's delightful because it's actually about all LGBTQ people on the show. So it's like,
I love Ken. Are you kidding? I didn't know that. Ken, wow, kudos to you. I love that. That's amazing.
I actually auditioned for the show, but I didn't get on.
Actually,
a little dig there, Ken. Just a little dig. How could you refuse this?
I don't know. Apparently, I wasn't what they were looking for.
you got to put her on. She's absolutely amazing. I just want to give a shout out to the whole Dark Echoes Paranormal crew: Larissa, Sarah, Tammy, Scarlett, Alan, my friend Mark, Jason, David Rubin. A shout out to all of you. Just shout out to everybody and everybody who reached out to me in a time of need. Thank you, and just God bless everybody. And I really appreciate everything.
And Matthew, thank you for being here. As we know, you've been hit with something very, very hard and very personal. So the fact that you still showed up here is just a testament to your integrity and your character, Matthew. And collectively, again, we're all sending this amazing love and healing to you. And you and your family are going to get through whatever is coming. It may be difficult, but you'll get through it. Plus, you have this amazing non-family here, like myself and Monique and everybody else that's watching. So it's
you, Stephen, you and Elix are family. You guys, we just bonded so quick, and with the stuff I do with him and the stuff I do with you, it's just, it's pure family right there. And Monique, you have been shown nothing but respect, and so you're family as well. And I don't like to use that word, and please don't prove me wrong.
Let's dump Matthew and then really spill the tea, Monique, on Matthew. Just saying. But listen, thank you guys. And I think Elix is good. I'll keep him around. I thank Elix for everything. That this guy is pretty amazing. You guys have both met him, and you don't get better than Elix. You just don't. That's why it's been almost 31 years. I love that guy to death. So listen, thank you. I look forward to seeing you two in person and getting to do things with you. But I hope both of you have the best, not only night, but best 2024. I know you guys are going to. So thank you, Monique. And thank you, Matthew. And everybody else, thank you for watching and listening. You guys are great, and love to all of you people. So